There you go.
Are you going to chuck that across the room?
I'm pretty
Did
close.
you break it? It sounds broken.
No, it's not
All right.
It's not broken. That's where we're at. Yeah, pretty soon we'll need the beep beep. We'll need the beep beep. I got to get something for that.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything other than me going beep beep.
Well, it was more like a Tiger Woods originally in its infancy.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
Beep, beep.
I like that right off the bat. We have somebody thanking us for our wagers. Yeah, I you know what? Abdel, nicely done. Tom got you a victory. And then also I told everybody that Maverick McNeely would be would have a good day, and he's birdied 3 of his first 4 holes.
Yeah, so I have him thanks to you as a top 5 wager. That would be kind of like a place wager. Now Abdel has the show wager, top 10 finish. What are the odds there? Like plus 200? Because it was 5-1 to play McNeely in a top 5 finish. I said, what the hell? Let's go for it.
It's a weird story about him. This is just to tell you how disgusted we are with basketball. Tom and I are talking about Maverick McNeely to lead the show, everybody.
Who does sound like a point guard.
Yeah, in Boston. So
yeah, that's right.
So what I would tell you is did the golf show last night with Florida State golf coach Trey Jones. There's a Florida State tie. See how I did that?
Yeah, all right. We're off and rolling.
Good man, Trey Jones. Anyhow, we were talking about Maverick McNeely. How about this? Tell me how angry you'd be at your father. Or would you say, I understand, Pops? Probably be one of those things many years later that you'd have that conversation. But his home course is Pebble Beach. And his dad wouldn't let him play it. He didn't play it growing up.
What?
Wouldn't let him play it. It wasn't until he was much older and then had kind of earned it that he let him play it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He's one of those?
Yeah. But it worked out. It worked out.
So what age, though? Do we know? Is it like 12 because now he can hit it long enough to not take 5 hours?
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that like that was kind of the thing. Like, you don't know, we're not playing this here yet. You have to earn that. And
there's something to cutting your teeth on an irons course first as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, let's get the basics down.
Anyhow, it's a weird thing. Well, here's what happens with guys when it comes to their home course or any local knowledge, or you either play really well when it's tournament time on that course, or you play terribly because you feel this pressure to, I've played this course a million times. I know all the secrets. I have to, and if you get through 7 holes and you're even, you're like, what's going on? Meanwhile, and so it's weird. You see it. It goes to extremes. That's true of home golf courses for teams. So if you're hosting a tournament, Trey will frequently talk about you have a, obviously you'd prefer that as opposed to, trekking out onto the road and playing somebody else's home course. But with it is a set of pressures that doesn't ordinarily coincide with playing golf.
Yeah, for sure. But what it does is it gives you a high floor. And I know that's kind of backwards with the way golf scoring is. You almost want to call it a ceiling. But it gives you where, you could be playing awfully in your own mind. But if it's your home course, that's 5 or 6 shots better, at least for an am like me, than anywhere else. Like if I'm playing awful at a place I've never been before, oh God, that's worth at least 2-3 shots of 9. But if it's your home course, then to get around there even when you're playing poor.
Yeah, you shouldn't throw up an 80 at
right.
At any
like
point.
Your worst day, if you're him, 74, whereas it might be 77 if you're playing somewhere else in a different part of the country.
A couple things and it's always going to be this way because of who, the show and our relation to Florida State and all of that other stuff. But to prominent stories in my inbox and on my Twitter feed the last 24 hours, which is Jimbo's fiery, angry, I'm pissed off at the world speech.
Oh man, seen that before.
We've watched him do that here. Here's the thing about the essence of what he's saying, at least in regards to reputable people taking stuff off of something called Bro Bible. Yeah, that sucks. Shouldn't happen. It's stupid.
It's on a site named Bro Bible with a guy named Slice Bread.
That part made me laugh. I wanted that bite just to have it.
We'll get it.
Well, the reason I want it isn't that quintessentially what the modern soundbite should be when talking about media? Like, it's not a famous columnist who's taken issue with a local authoritative figure in politics, coaching, whatever, right? It's instead it's from a sign named Bro Bible. And Half Slice is over here saying things, and people are like, you're like, of course, that's very modern. That makes a lot of sense. Nobody putting their name on anything is perfect.
So are we going to have to? Well, yes, that's Joe Buck had a famous line about that. I won't repeat that in a panel years ago. But that is a 2.5 to 3 minute rant that we could decode in Tallahassee in a way, specifically on this show, than anybody else, because he slips at one point at about the 2 minute mark. Maybe he's 2.5.
I know where you're good. Let's see if we're on the same.
Where he says, he starts with mind your own business, but he stops. He goes, mind your own. I mean, and he goes and says something else. Mind your own business is what you're trying to say, which is nothing to see here. It is going on. Which is
code for, I would prefer the media not exist because it's getting in the way of me doing what I'd like to do.
He's also saying it to the other coaches in his league. In our league, you got to be kidding me.
Well, now that
the story. Now I know him. You want to do it?
That part is correct. That part is correct. The part about other people being concerned about Texas A&M's level of NIL commitment, he's correct about that. That's hilarious.
What he should say is, and he always has this little thesis statement that he doesn't believe is the thesis that should be. And it is mind your own business, right? And how about why is it when we do it, it's a problem?
Right.
There you go. That's all you need to say. Why is it when we do it? And now that it's legal, why is it when we do it, it's a problem? Alabama gets $800,000 for its quarterback or $1 million, and everybody says, oh, wow, how great.
And that was the funny part, was that he said it publicly at the time, meaning that's what Nick Saban said. I think he said $1 million, didn't he, originally?
Yeah, it depends on which outlet he spoke to. But yes, he said both. He said different ones. $800,000, $1 million. And everybody says how great it is. And then it's us. Why is it a problem? But we're not doing it. There is no 30 million. There's no 5 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Well, the easy way around that is it's the lies of omission. Sure, those things weren't in place while you were recruiting the player. However, it was understood by the player that if you were to sign with Texas A&M, this sort of thing can be arranged. That's all that is. So that way you can plausibly say, no, he didn't get any money to sign here. No, not at all. Now the things that exist that do, and and the things that are, but that's all legal.
Right. Yeah, but here's the truth of it.
Yeah.
You signed 4 5-stars your first 4 years as the head coach at Texas A&M, and you signed 7 this year.
Oh, well, no, the truth of it is what he's being accused of. The truth of it is what they're being accused of. Maybe not the particular number, but again, this is where it sucks because and I know that even if he could have sat up there and said, yep, we did it.
Correct.
30 million. Next year to be 40. I'm going to get all them sons of bitches. All of them coming for your ass. He could have done that. It would have been funnier and better. He could have done it.
And he's already an auctioneer with his voice speed.
Right.
Do I hear 40, 45, 45?
Yeah, 50? Yeah. All legal. He could have just said that repeatedly, and he would be right.
How about you? The Alex Morton dude. 45? I see you out there. Put your paddle up.
So what I think is that's what's most disturbing is that he doesn't have to go in denial mode. And really, Jimbo could be anybody. It could be anybody that has the backing of the university and the money, the coffers to do that. It's what the college football fan is afraid of currently. It's that, and it's specific, how about this? Specifically, it's what the Florida State fan is afraid of, which is that we seek to be part of that upper echelon that plays for national titles because of the cachet built up of a 40-plus year run. So the stark reality of the changed landscape means that Florida State currently, as it sits with confusion regarding Rising Spear, NIL, what we're capable of not, we now know we're on the outside looking in, that you can't kick down that door currently. Like, you're not going to beat Alabama, Georgia, in this case, Texas A&M, if they're committed in that way to not only having 50 analysts on staff that they're paying for, but also if they have in their resources to reach back and make sure they get that kid. You can't win that battle. You can't go dollar for dollar. And so when you hear it, you're like, okay, well, we're running on a treadmill here. This sucks. We're headed nowhere. That's the hard part. So you feel like you're putting Band-Aids on things, but it's a gaping wound, and it's frustrating and it's not just Florida State, but central theme on this show is often Florida State. We cover Florida State, but man, people outside of about I wouldn't say a handful, but about 10 schools. If it's time to go to war, they can't beat those schools.
Okay, so for example, my dad and mom, they did pretty good for themselves for a big part of their life. They currently live in a neighborhood in East Lake. Lansbrook is the name of it, on the golf course. It's a nice neighborhood. It's a nice place. But within the Lansbrook huge neighborhood, because it is big, is this sub-neighborhood called President's Landing. It's where the late Roy Halladay used to live. And it's gated. So there's the nice neighborhood, and then there's the gated neighborhood within the nice neighborhood. We are not in the gated neighborhood within the nice neighborhood. We are Florida State. We're on the golf course.
We can see it from where we sit. Yeah, and that's even worse.
But we don't have the code.
Yeah.
That's where we are as a football program right now in terms of resources. I'd love to be in that neighborhood, and I'd love to brag about it. I'd love our coach to brag about it and say, what you going to do? What you going to do? Either we create legislation or we just keep on going down this road. What's it going to be? And I'm for the legislation, but for right now, let's spend. How much can we spend next year? Let's raise some funds. I would fundraise for it, but we don't live there right now.
No, and I think, though, if you're a fan of college football, this is, again, the conversation we had going all the way back to baseball, to Major League Baseball, where very politely the commissioner of Major League Baseball at the time had to explain to George Steinbrenner that the Yankees can't play the Yankees. I bring this up all the time, because he was so pissed off about the fact that, hey, it's not my fault we're in the media capital of the world. It's not my fault we make more money because of that than any other franchise in the world. My job as an owner is to provide the best opportunity for my coaches and players to win as many games as we possibly can and bring home titles. That's why I bought the team. And so I am dedicated to doing just that. And now, and he felt at the time, because of luxury taxes and an increase in the percentages of those luxury taxes for every dollar spent above $200 million, he thought it was unfair, that they were unfairly and unduly punished. And of course, that was short-sighted, because if Major League Baseball, which is a trust, became a situation where they won every year, people would stop watching Major League Baseball. Like, okay, well, it's women's basketball. We do this all the time. Not enough competitive balance leads to boredom. College football has this problem to begin with, and it's been moving inexorably worse than it used to be, and it was always top-heavy. It's gotten worse. So the problem with that is that, again, if you're part of the haves, if you have all the money in the world and your administration is dedicated to doing it, great for you. But if the sport begins to spiral and fewer people want to watch it and don't care, well, then to what end?
Yeah, I felt that way a little bit about softball last year. We get through Alabama, and then you get to Oklahoma, and it's like this coach who's all, prim and smug and grinding out every at-bat. And it's like, you have recruited 9 of the top 12 players every single year to your particular institution. The fact that we're in it against you is a slight to your coaching ability. You should be train wrecking everybody the way UConn did, the way UCLA soccer did, women's soccer did forever and a day. Hopefully, obviously for our program, because I love Lonnie and I love the softball program, we can get over that hump. But that's what it starts to feel like at that point, is that you're going to have, it already is. I mean, it already is that kind of that way. You just have the carousel of 4 or 5 programs. That's it.
Well, and so this is where, when you talk, Corey Clark brings up the greater good all the time. And this is a metaphor for a lot of things, but the point is, when you're having that conversation, we would all love to be there. We want the ability to compete. I think that's really what it is, that people just want the ability to have a chance to compete. I mean, at some point it is diminishing returns. Your roster can only be so big, and with NIL, people can pony up to get a particular recruit. We just saw that, much to our chagrin. If they want to, it may open up the playing field in a weird way. Can be an argument made, right? Like, if Kansas really wants the top player, that they want to give him $2 million, they'd probably get him. And does that overall impact their season? No. But does it change the reputation of who they are in recruiting? Sure.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So look at both playoff systems in football. Cincinnati made it in both playoffs, but the Bengals experience is very, very different from the Bearcats experience.
Right.
One has a shot, like a real chance.
Yeah, sure.
The other, well, you're the token 4th team, and that's what happens because the other teams lose. They lose too much, so they can't rightfully be in the group, although the one year they wedged Ohio State in there. But that's what the Washingtons, Michigan State, you could say us based upon the way Oregon beat us, but that's not the same thing. But there's always that team where you're watching the semifinals, like college football player, you're like, oh, geez.
Oh, no. Yeah. And sometimes that team's Notre Dame.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's weird. I'll just, again, listening to him go on that rant made me laugh because we know what's going on there. I also know what he's doing. If that's your guy, then you like it. You're like, yeah, good. Tell him to stick it. What's funny is he said people don't like it if we're coming up. We'll get used to it. Well, you went 8-4, man. You went 8-4. You're coming up, really? You haven't done a damn thing since you got there. Nothing. Not for what they're paying you. You've done nothing. So that's all encapsulating Jimbo Fisher. It's like, man, I got it. Appreciate you going to war for us. That's awesome. You're going to give us the best chance to win. And maybe it pays off at A&M the way it did here.
It better. Or you'll be the worst coach of all time.
Yeah.
No, really.
I know.
You can make an argument he is the worst coach of all time if he can't win with that recruiting class that is the highest rated ever. And they're going to have another one that's top 3 right behind it.
Yeah, they're going to have another one. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Sarah here from Seminole Auto Glass. Remember when you used to get yelled at for writing the Braille?
Oh yeah, those bumps on the yellow line. That was before the car techie stuff we have now, like lane keep assist.
You know, when your windshield is replaced, those cameras need to be reset. It's called recalibration. Seminole Auto Glass was the first to offer it here.
Nice, keeping us inside the line instead of right in the line.
And we offer drop-off or mobile service. Plus, we give you a $50 gift card with your windshield through insurance. We're more than just a glass company. We're your local auto glass experts. Better call Seminole.
Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue just north of Havana have become your destination for the best food either side of the state line. But what if you want fresh seafood? Say no more. Kenny and the crew have got you covered with seafood so fresh, the only way you'll get it fresher is if you grow a set of gills. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, 1 mile north of the last light in Havana. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, open 7 days a week. Get your fill at the grill.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows
know that.
Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. Not this is. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop and Lounge has been serving Tallahassee now for over 27 years. And with the addition of their beautiful new location on Cary Forest Parkway a few years back, Jerry's has the largest selection of quality cigars in Tallahassee. So come relax with their large walk-in humidor, state-of-the-art air purifiers, and spacious lounge with over 35 comfy chairs. Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop and Lounge, Tallahassee's fine cigar destination for over a quarter century.
Your home is where your memories live, where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Florida Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 75 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me at 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM.
This is Sister Dot Brown, reminding you to tune in every Sunday morning from 9 to 11 for good gospel music here on 93.3 every Sunday morning. Dot Brown.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, you know these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout, resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
We did.
That is such a character on the show now.
It's annoying. I hate to do it. I can't introduce the character and then not have it, when it's convenient or not convenient, I should say.
It saves your voice too from the ding ding.
Ding ding. So we went to Clemson last night for the first of 2 regular season meetings this year with Clemson. And no, man, we've got another front court injury. It's a gutsy effort, depleted roster. It's a loss. So now you're just frustrated. You look, I don't know how many of you watched this game last night. Didn't feel like a lot. Didn't feel like it. I get a sense sometimes when we're all locked in together, my Noles, we're all ready to roll. We're all on the edge of our seat. Perhaps we have our tasty beverage and something nice to eat for the big matchup.
I don't know that anybody even watching it was on the edge of their seat.
Well, that's what I mean. I get a sense of when these things occur. There was a sense of nobody watching this game. It's like, man, maybe in passing while they were talking about their summer vacation plans. People had it in the background. They were standing in the kitchen with their wife. Well, what about D.C.? Well, we went to D.C. 6 years ago, Mary. So it was sort of this, oh, it's tied. That kind of a deal. That sort of a deal. Well, so you're like me, Noles and Noles in the house, right? So my wife, Florida State graduate, there we are. We're sitting there talking, just same thing. Your wife, Florida State graduate, 17 times over. So here we are.
About to be 18, yeah.
So, yeah. And so, then you turn and you're like, there are those moments where both of you are locked into something of vital importance that Florida State's doing. And your shared love and passion for the university shines through as you both join hands and cheer the Noles wildly. And then there's, let's talk about some other things while we have some wine. And the game is on back there. That's true. It's like,
we've never had wine while we watch Florida State basketball because Florida State basketball
you
doesn't
just
play
ordered a bunch of wine. Why not?
Because they don't play on Fridays. Friday is vino night.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
So there were rules against vino any other time in the week?
Well, it's usually a dry household from Monday through Thursday. We got work to do.
Fair enough. But if you want a glass of wine on a Tuesday, I don't think that Friday's vino night should.
Let me see. Which shoulder are you talking to me from? Yep, I see.
hey, hon, I know it's not vino night, but I'm going to get a little crazy and have a glass of red for dinner on a Tuesday. All right. So we're down 20-12 in the first 9 minutes of the game. There, Clemson's hitting shots. We did cut it 20-19 at the under 10-minute mark. Matthew Cleveland had a couple layups there. Little Harrison Prado. And then it's 30-all with 4 minutes to play in the half. And let me know that moment becomes from chit-chatting in the kitchen to, oh, we're tied. Okay. You start kind of getting invested a little bit. Maybe they reel you in. They win your heart. That's what it felt like. But we are not doing a good job at the end of halves. That is a problem. It's been a problem lately. And I don't know if that's because you're missing personnel and you're lacking depth and you're a little winded. Could very well be. But we allowed for a run late in the first half, closing minutes of the first half, to the tune of 15-6. And that'll hurt your feelings, as I like to say, because you go from, I'm beginning to feel a measure of hope to, oh, well, that's a 15-6 run. Son of a! You get mad. You got to go walk around. So we shot 48.3% for the first half. Nice. Couldn't hit the three, 27% from beyond the arc. They were 11-18 inside the arc. That's good. 5 of 8 from the free throw line. Clemson shot it well, and everybody does these days against us. 17 of 28, that's 60% from the field, 5 of 10 from beyond the arc. They came into the game number 2 in the ACC in three-point field goal percentage behind only Virginia Tech, who now has a raging lead after having faced us in going 18 of 25. They were winning on the glass. It was tough. It was tough. Second half, we're down 12, 55-43. 15 minutes to play. And Harrison Prado, Raekwon Evans, and Caleb Mills, here we go. Some threes. Let's go. And you're starting to believe it. But Prado blocked the Clemson shot. Anthony Polite came up with the rebound. We're about the 2-minute mark, right? Only have, of course, a bit of bad luck, a bout of bad luck. Or a nice play by the Clemson player. I can't remember his name. I should look that up. He knocked the ball off of Polite out of bounds. And then the replay kind of, first they gave it to us, then they gave it back to Clemson. Were you watching then?
Yeah. No, it's hard to watch with the passion when you don't get stops, even though sometimes you do. But when it's 60% for a half, and then like if you look
we
at
didn't get a defensive stop for the remainder of the game after that point.
Right. Well, and that's the same thing in the first half. You don't get stops. And some of these are low percentage threes that they're taking from distance, but it reminds me of the discussion we have about Florida State football, which is nobody fears us anymore. So you see teams that play us boldly. They do so, whether it's in basketball terms, attacking the paint or shooting the three. They expect that it's going to go in. Whereas when we're operating the way we should be as a program, there's a ton of trepidation and fear, even as they cross the timeline, and you can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But right now there is no fear because the tape that they turn on as they scout for us says, all right, execute what we do, and we're going to be fine today, guys.
One thing that has nothing to do with anything, but I just wanted to point it out, and it sucks because he's on the other team, but I really love the name Naz Bohannon. I just thought I'd say that. That's a great name. And he had a great night.
A lot of people do.
He ordinarily does not, as he's a reserve, but Naz Bohannon played very well.
We scored a ton in the paint, but we can't get stops. That's the hard thing. Like in watching FSU basketball 12 years ago versus now, I think it's harder to watch, and you might disagree. I think you might. It's harder to watch a team that cannot get stops, and this happened to us 5 years ago when we were trying to change in what we did as a program.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder to watch a team that can't get stops. It doesn't matter that we score going the other way because it's exhausting.
Watch a team that struggles to score.
That's 22-20 at the half. That's easier because you're within reach at all times. It feels hopeless when you cannot get stops.
Well, that's true of a team too in football. I've always argued that if you can't stop anybody, you can lose to anybody. The problem with that is aesthetically, I disagree with you. I understand what you're saying. I'd rather be in the game than not. So 22-20, you're in the game. You get a chance to win it no matter how ugly it looks.
Just talking about hope as a fan. Like I feel more hopeless when I'm going, oh my God. It's just, if they want to drive, if they want to kick out, if they want to switch and then isolate. And then sometimes they'll shoot that 25-footer. You're like, oh, that's going to go into. Okay. So it feels hopeless. And basketball is a very emotional game to watch versus football. You have a chance to gather your emotions between plays and drives and quarters.
Yeah. And, by the way, Naheem McLeod, I don't know what happened there. I've watched that replay a few times. What do you think happened? I don't see how he hurt himself. I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's just like nothing was apparent to me on that.
It sucks because we were able to completely break them down around the basket all night. Drive and dish. Some of the plays didn't gom too, but Cleveland got on a roll there at the end of the first half. There was a lot of stuff that we could do around the basket. It's just, again, when you can't get stops and then you miss a couple of bunnies, it feels hopeless.
Well, they're in deep trouble now. They've got to be mentally crushed. When you lose a player of that magnitude for that long, and he was just coming along, and you've already lost Malik Osborne, and, you've had the tonsillitis situation, which is just unlucky.
Well, yeah, Mills and Evans had to press the play last night because they were, Leonard said they were doubtful on Monday.
Yeah. So you've got, now you're just out of people. Now you don't have bodies. It's impossible to judge anything anymore. It's just frustrating. And they were growing. It's hard to look at this team and see the same team that went on a 6-game winning streak. They've fallen not just on hard times in the sense that they've lost some games, but they're losing their personnel. So
they're losing to the bottom of the league.
So Caleb Mills,
it's not like Clemson is in the running for the ACC regular season title either.
16 points for Caleb Mills. a rebound, 2 assists, 3 steals, block shot, 31 minutes. Good for him. Played well. Raekwon Evans had 11 points. Good to see him back. 2 of 3 from the free throw line. Assist, 2 steals, block shot. Butler had 9 points, by the way, 3 boards, 3 assists, a steal, block shot in 31 minutes. He's going to have to do a lot more. It will allow some of these other guys to grow. They're going to have to. The lion's share of what we're talking about from here on out is Mills, Butler, probably Ngom, I guess. Matthew Cleveland for sure. Fletcher's a player who has to do more now. Had 5 points. I need you to be better. He's got to figure this out. He's got to be more consistent. Obviously, Wyatt Wilkes was once again missing. Worley is going to have to grow up in a hurry.
It's a project, yeah.
He shouldn't be a project based on that, who he was coming in.
I know. It's just what I find myself doing watching these games is bargaining. That's the process and the stage of grief I'm in. I'm like, well, you got to take it on the chin in order for next year. Maybe Malik comes back.
It's hard to do that. It is hard.
Leonard was asked that question, and he said he doesn't know what Malik's decision would be just yet about a potential return. He would be eligible to do so and come back and play for us next year. I think that would be a huge development. But I'm bargaining and saying, all right, so Butler's going to be all right. If they can figure out Worley, okay. Cleveland's probably gone, but if he isn't, that'd be good. I just work only on free throws the entire offseason. That'd be good. Raekwon's gone. That's tough. Anthony Polite, that's going to be a tough loss. But okay, Leonard clearly understands the importance of NIL and also hitting the transfer portal to bring in veterans.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm thinking as these games are happening.
You're just doing this. You're asking this of yourself every night.
Well,
yeah.
Think about, we didn't have the lead. We never had the lead.
I know.
It's like not having the ball in football. It's like, what do you want to do? You're pissed off at the offense. Well, we had the ball for one drive in the first quarter. That's how frustrated I feel. It's like when you're down 8-10 an entire game and you're always chasing and then you finally tie it, but you never cross the threshold and take the lead.
Right.
In any other basketball game. It's just an exhausting experience.
It gets easier to watch now if you're going to, because you can't go into games expecting to win. And that's a weird thing to say, because that's not been the case for a program that has finished in the top 3 each of these last 4 years, program that has won the conference. You don't, it's odd to have to adjust on a night in, night out basis moving forward to the idea that it'd be foolhardy to expect a win as I sit down to watch the game, which sucks. I hate that, and it's not even a defeatist thing. That's just more of being a realist. I mean, if you're a realist, we say this all the time. Disappointment happens when expectations aren't met. Well, you're not lying to yourself and minimizing expectations because you don't want to be hurt. That's just cowardice. You're a realist when you say half our team is hurt and we're asking guys to play and carry a bigger role than they would have ever been asked to do before at their age. Why should I expect them to win this game? I ought not.
Right. You're looking for signs of growth.
That's all it is. Yeah. And that's hard because nobody wants to watch their team go through hey, listen, we're doing it with the football team. Nobody likes to sit around and watch their team have to go through the growing pains, especially now. Florida State has not been in a rebuild mode at all. Florida State basketball has just been right there as a preeminent program in the ACC and a Sweet 16 fixture, quite literally a fixture. And now boom, off it. The plane has hit the side of the mountain. It's not going to be anything close to that.
And it happens to everybody. It even happened to Kay last year. That Duke team was a travesty.
Yeah.
So, you just next year, make sure it doesn't happen again. And these kids that are gaining the experience, let's see the growth, the development as they go along. They're getting a first-class education this year from the thing that sucks about it, too, is it's a substandard ACC.
Well, it's a bad ACC.
If it was a good ACC and this is your record, you'd say, okay,
hang
nothing
in,
is F here, man.
6-5 in the conference, hanging on for dear life.
Of course, when we're down, the conference and the way it's perceived is terrible, and the way it looks in the analytics department as well.
Well, it works after last night. Miami lost to Notre Dame, by the way. A huge road win for Notre Dame. Beat the Canes 68-63. That's a 3-way tie now for second place in the ACC between Miami, North Carolina, and Notre Dame. And then Duke leads the way. They're in first place now in the conference. Wake built a 22-point halftime lead and cruised past Pitt, by the way. I don't know if you watched that one. The reason I tell you that is because, of course, Wake's coming up 97-75. That's problematic.
It could be. Hey, well, we can summon the ghosts at home. There you go. Hit some threes, and then you never know. Play from in front. Let's try and do that for a change.
They're trying, Tommy. They're trying, buddy. The ACC has 5 teams in contention for NCAA tournament bids, but Gonna be tough. Tough to see them get 5 teams in, I think. Duke could, if you look at, I'm trying to check all these net rankings and see what it's going to take. If you go 15-5 in this league this year, that's probably about the worst you could do and get in. If you're any worse than that, I'm pretty sure you're not getting in.
Well, here's what we're doing now. We're circling the wagons
because
we're
basketball. 6-5 in the ACC.
It doesn't matter, not one bit. We are circling the wagons for one magical week in Brooklyn. That's all it's about now. Get hot in Brooklyn. Hey, we're capable of beating anybody on this list that's ahead of us in the ACC. We've proven it.
Yeah, we
have proven it.
We beat Miami twice and Duke.
How about a Duke that doesn't care?
Yeah,
a Duke that doesn't care in Brooklyn. You know, you got to get over that Miami hurdle. What if the Platinum Bohica was for
Miami
the right to go to the dance?
No Miami hurdle. We've won 9 in a row.
Nope.
It would just be the opportunity.
Well, this would be, as you said before, a very angry Miami team that we have their full attention.
And as currently comprised, we'd get smoked.
But what if it was for the right to go to the NCAA tournament in the championship game in Brooklyn?
Dangle the carrot, buddy.
For the Bohica and the dance. We could do the Bohica dance.
Oh, I'd have to be in Brooklyn to present the Bohica.
I would think Gene would fly you up.
Okay, Gene. You heard our guy. That's it. I'm
if
flying
we win the
up to
semifinals, you got to book a
Taking
flight.
on Miami.
Next flight up.
Now imagine when they check my bag and I have the Platinum Bohica. Sir.
You might want to check that bag and see if they
I just say, listen, there's nothing illegal about this.
No carry on.
Don't you judge me. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Drivers beware, speed cameras may be on their way to a location near you thanks to President Biden's infrastructure law. States can start to tap billions of federal highway dollars for road safety programs such as automated traffic enforcement. It's all part of the Transportation Department's new national strategy to stem record increases in traffic fatalities. The guidance by the Federal Highway Administration cites speed cameras as a proven enforcement tool against hazardous driving. A protest Tuesday morning outside Florida A&M demanding livable wages for union workers. Support staff members at FAMU, including groundskeepers, custodians, and secretaries, many are only making $10 an hour, while others have not received a pay raise in a decade. The university released a statement saying FAMU values all of its employees. Negotiations are being handled through the collective bargaining process, which is ongoing. Union workers operate under 3-year contracts. The current one will end June 30th of this year. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by McLemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. More clouds than sun this afternoon with highs around 75. Southerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for isolated storms. Tonight, lows dip down to about 63, cloudy skies. Isolated thunderstorms again tomorrow. Highs level off around 70, cloudy. Low 50s Saturday with a chance for scattered thunderstorms. Mid 50s Sunday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 71.
Where is the best place to find Michelin, Firestone, Dunlop, Goodyear, and Bridgestone tires? Nice Tire and Auto Service. Where's the best full-service auto center? Nice Tire and Auto Service. They do everything from computerized alignments to brakes, tune-ups, and safety inspections. Where can you get complete auto service you can trust? That's easy. Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Pastor Tabner was alone with a female church employee. She in a towel and he in his boxers. The charismatic 41-year-old Hurley explained the two of them had been making chili and gotten food on their plates. With the hot dogs that they were making, we are hoping that the pastor used the right condiments.
I think there was at least one hot dog involved.
I don't know what you're talking about. We were just making chili dogs.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Of it, a detail of it, because I could so picture it. So remember yesterday we were talking about the Brian Flores lawsuit, and we were kind of going through both the claims of discrimination and obviously sort of the sham interview, the Rooney Rule stuff, the idea that an owner in the National Football League who's accused now of being willing to pay a coach to purposely lose games, all that stuff. We were going through all of it. And this is a big deal, and it's going to continue to be the story that leads the day in the National Football League for the entirety of the offseason. Like, this is going to go on for a while. This isn't going anywhere.
And in Super Bowl week, there is a commissioner's forum. Rodgers like, you
gotta
son
be,
of a-"
yeah, he's got to be like, are you kidding me? Yeah, oh no, it's a toughie. Now, he may end up being able to dodge a lot of it, Tom, because he can just say it's a legal matter and I'm not allowed to talk about it. So that's how you get around all of that. But when you read the details of what's alleged and what is being asserted here, all of them, as you digest that and you kind of vet all that stuff, oftentimes as you read it, you can become incredibly disillusioned and sad. Other times you could think, well, that's a weighty thing to say. How are they going to prove that? And then around the next turn, you read the next page, you're like, oh, well, that's fascinating. And then the next thing you'd look at, you'd go, I can't believe he texted that. And then the next thing so you're doing all of this. You go through this swing of emotions, anger and sadness and everything in between. But there's one part of it where I couldn't stop laughing because I pictured it to be true. And if it's true, it is still sad. But this image struck me that when Brian Flores talks about he thought it was a sham interview with the Broncos, and he said that they showed up an hour late, and John Elway was disheveled and drunk. If you've seen the
and
way
he admitted it, according to the thing, he said, like, I'm sorry, we're late. Had a few drinks last night.
He looked like ass. Yeah. He smelled of alcohol. He's disheveled. You can picture like his shirt is half tucked. There's like lipstick on his collar. His hair is every which way to Sunday.
Yeah, it's not dry Monday through Thursday in his house.
Well, and I was thinking about this when I read it. Like, to me, and this is probably uncouth of me, but it's been a tough go for John Elway post-football. And what I mean by that is his life hasn't suffered. He's got more money than he could ever spend. He's a DD in Denver. But he looks like ass, and he looks worse every time I see him. Like, man, the days are not kind to John Elway. I mean, he is burning it at both ends. He has to be. Like, he's really been living up the fact that he won a couple Super Bowls in Denver and is considered one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time. Because every time they would show when he was still GM, when they would show and they'd pan to him, I'm like, oh, what's going on with John Elway?
Well, there's an interesting subculture. It makes its way up into the mountains in that area of the country. It's like we're forever young, like you see guys with frosted tips. Woody Page is a great example from the Denver Post. Woody Page is like 65 years old, frosted his tips. And when I was there, I visited a long time ago now, but I was 18, half a lifetime ago. And there was a ski instructor. It was in the summer playing golf. He's like, hey, I've got a steakhouse, dude, frosted tips, wife who was like 35. I'm like,
you're like, what are you doing?
Middle age doesn't exist here. People just live their 20s and 30s their whole lives. So maybe John's one of those.
Frosted tips. Can we,
I haven't seen
friends do not let friends do that.
I haven't seen around the horn in ages, but I'm sure he still frosts his tips. I'm sure he does. It's something about the Denver culture.
Oh, you could use that phrase for any number of things. I bet he frosted the tips. I bet he did. But I would just say that now it makes total sense to me, because for the last umpteenth years, every time they cut to John Elway up in the box, God, John, get a hold of your cocaine addiction. I don't know that John Elway's addicted to cocaine. I'm just saying it looks an awful lot like John Elway has been addicted to cocaine and opiates and everything else under the sun.
Like maybe he should be the general manager of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Vegas Raiders.
Yes,
yeah.
My man is struggling on the regular. So when I read the lawsuit and I listened to I read Brian Flores' claims that Elway walked into the room, I can't get it out of my mind. John Elway on a bender, hasn't slept. It's 2 days. He's getting frantic calls from the other upper brass. We got to meet with Brian Flores in an hour. Where are you, John? And he's waking up next to a hooker like, oh, my God, I got to be sorry, sweet cheeks. I got to go meet with Brian Flores. And he jumps up and throws money down onto the hotel room bed, and he's racing out the door. And he's hauling ass knowing that if he gets pulled over in Denver, there's no chance he goes to jail.
Yeah, well, they keep calling him. He gets indignant after a while. We're hiring Fangio anyway.
Yeah.
Just start without me.
He pulls in. The car is parked sideways. It's not even in the spot. He's running into the hotel. His shirt's untucked. Oh, hey, Brian, good to see you. John Elway.
His vanity plate says, this one for me.
Yeah.
This one for me.
Yeah. So, Brian, we're so glad to have you here. Brian's sitting there incredulous.
We've got some evidence on the director Matthews stepping up.
I'm telling you, look at that. I mean, John has some fun. You could probably find a hell of a lot more where that's coming from. Start searching the interwebs as we go to break.
Make sure that's your laptop and not mine. I don't need that in my search history.
Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Well, so far this month has already been a long, cold year. But nothing breaks up the cold like a cozy, warm fireplace in your home from Hearth and Patio. You may not know this, but many of today's modern, environmentally friendly indoor fireplace designs offer amazing energy efficiency. And when you get a new fireplace installed by Hearth and Patio, they will also service the equipment to make sure it lasts for years to come. Something else you may not know, Hearth and Patio can also repair your existing fireplace. I'm going to read you a recent review from a real customer. Donna says, our gas fireplace stopped working at a time when we experienced our coldest weather. I called other companies, but the earliest they could send someone out was 10 days. Then I called Hearth and Patio, and they had a technician at my house the next day. He not only was friendly, he fixed the problem and never tried to sell me something I did not need. It was so refreshing. I would not hesitate to call Hearth and Patio again. So the moral of the story is, when you need a fireplace repaired, replaced, or installed, just call Hearth and Patio at 727-4282 or find them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Let's take a minute to imagine all the things you can accomplish with help from Southeast Portable Buildings. Are you a hoarder? Hoard some more. Get a storage shed. Mother-in-law moving in with you? Put her in a shed out back. I'm kidding. Still working on that engine that you're going to finish from last summer? Move it out to a new workspace with Southeast Portable Buildings. From she sheds and man caves to repair shops and trophy rooms, the possibilities are only limited to your imagination. Visit Southeast Portable Buildings today.
Are you stumped on who to call for fast and affordable crane and tree service? Deep South Tree Service is a cut above the rest. They go out on a limb for their customers. With the largest crane in the Big Bend area, no job is too tall, no job is too small. Call Rob for a free quote today. 850-877-TREE. That's 877-8733. Deep South Tree Service. Our roots run deep.
This is Dr. James Ryan Finn with Finn Chiropractic, encouraging you to unmask the cause of your problem. People mask problems with medicine, even with stretching or massage. But if the cause of your problem is pressure on your nerve, you need to unmask that cause. That's what we do at Finn Chiropractic. So if you or a loved one are having neck pain, back pain, or headaches, come in, get the phenomenal health exam, and let us unmask the cause of your problem. Remember, your chiropractor loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Cameron Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness, 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Through salary cap and which teams are in dire straits and which ones are in a position to pounce and make moves. Hey, good news for you, Jacksonville Jaguar fans. The answer is Jacksonville. They have an opportunity here to really do some good things. I mean, obviously, consecutive number 1 picks in the draft is never a good feeling. But that said, if you look at their current cap space at over $61 million, go get you some players. Let's go. Let's go. The Jets, by the way, have over almost $51 million to spend. And then the Broncos, the aforementioned, disheveled, poorly run, very tired John Elway Broncos are at almost $39 million to spend.
So I'd want to go to, if I'm a free agent, Denver first, then the Jets, and then any other team, and then the Jags, right? Because that's a mess.
What are you? Are you a receiver? If you're a receiver and you get a good coach in Jacksonville and you have Trevor Lawrence, I don't know, maybe you look at it.
Maybe.
Again, no state tax, get to live on the beach if you want to, play sawgrass.
Now, what's the priority? Is it bags of cash or is it winning? Because if it's winning.
Well, if it's winning, then we're looking at Denver.
Yep.
Also a nice place to live.
If you want to try and do something special and be something special, the Jets are that's with Wilson and what they got going on defensively. That's not a bad place to try and be on the ground floor.
Yeah. And, the truth of it is we really struggle year to year. It's, again, why the NFL is king. The Bengals won 4 games last year. 4. They're in the Super Bowl. If you get the right guy, the worst organization can be quickly turned around at the most important position, obviously. So, top 5 on this list with cap room is scary, by the way, because number 5 is the Chargers. And that's where I'm going. I'm moving to Los Angeles, and you can talk about traffic and taxes. I don't care. I love LA, and if I'm getting paid millions of dollars, I'll make it work. But the other reason is Herbert's a freak. And if they get a modicum of performance from a defense that couldn't stop you, and they get a little bit better up front, that team could be really good in a hurry.
Yeah, they got to be drafting defensive interior and linebacker, right? That's like the number 1 and 2 things for them. Their run defense is that bad that it has to be like full stop. Not best player available for this team. You need run stoppers, best available run stoppers.
They can retain Mike Williams and also Uchenna, the defensive end. So they've got enough money to re-sign those guys. They're going to be good. They're on the verge of being good.
It should be. Now, we appreciate analytics on this program, but their head coach is on the hot seat. When you have a quarterback that's good, he's that good.
Yeah,
your hot seat grace period is
sped
short
up. Yeah, it's sped
very,
up.
very short,
without question. Something else to note here: the Texans have $20.7 million. No,
that's it. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I guess the Watson contract once they trade it.
Yeah, it's a problem trying to trade a guy who has 22 active lawsuits filed against him. I mean, good luck with that. Hey, we've got Deshaun Watson. You don't say.
Sounds like something the Raiders ownership group would be interested in.
Yeah, well, I think lots of people would be. I mean, I argued that the Tampa Bay Bucks might be interested. Now, if Deshaun has a love of massage parlors, Tampa may not be the place.
He's trying to get away from that life. Yeah.
Yeah. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Biden says the leader of the Islamic State terrorist group is dead.
Operating on my orders, the United States military forces successfully removed a major terrorist threat to the world, the global leader of ISIS.
Abu Ibrahim al-Hashimi al-Qurashi, killed during the overnight U.S. raid in a northwestern Syrian province. A former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine says he's optimistic Russian President Vladimir Putin will negotiate.
William Taylor, a former ambassador to Ukraine and Russia expert, told the Helsinki Commission during a hearing Wednesday,
I believe President Putin will blink.
Taylor added that the United Front shown might have convinced Putin to negotiate.
The strong measures taken by Ukraine, NATO, and the United States appear to have deterred an invasion, at least for now.
Some 100,000 Russian troops are near Ukraine's borders. President Biden ordered 2,000 troops from the U.S. to Germany and Poland, while shifting 1,000 more to Romania from Germany. Moves Russian officials said fueled military tension. Tim McGuire, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, the number of people filing for unemployment benefits is falling again.
After 3 weeks of jobless claims rising in tandem with the Omicron surge in COVID-19 cases, the number has now dropped 2 weeks in a row. The Labor Department reports 238,000 Americans applied for jobless aid last week, down by 23,000. With the ups and downs, however, the 4-week average edged up again. It's now at 255,000. A total of 1.6 million Americans were collecting jobless aid the week that ended January 22nd. Earlier this week, the Labor Department reported employers had posted 10.9 million jobs on the last day of December, far higher than pre-pandemic levels. Ben Thomas, Washington.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Attention! This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-708-1855. Vehicle protection plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-708-1855 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-708-1855. What do you have to lose? Call 800-708-1855. Again, 800-708-1855.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yesterday on the show, I brought it up, and let's do it again here. I'll get into yesterday was, first of all, really busy day, but not necessarily for news regarding National Signing Day, Tom, but we will look back at that, that what occurred. What occurred was the rich got richer, namely Texas A&M. But before we get to that, I want to reiterate something for those that missed it, and I'm going to keep letting you all know the details as they become known to me. But if you would, go ahead and put up the golf goodness, as we'll let everybody know that the Jeff Cameron Show Warchant Invitational, it's back, baby. Here we go. First time in a number of years. This was a fixture here in Tallahassee for a very long time. Always a lot of fun to be a part of and to raise money. This year it will be for the Second Harvest, which is great. We're joining forces with the Second Harvest, and we'll talk more about this as the days go by. But we wanted, for those who didn't know, that we did want everybody to be aware. Tournament's back. It's going to take place at Capital City Country Club. That will happen on Friday, April the 15th at 8:30 a.m. Should be, knock on wood, just a great time of year to do it. Good weather. It is presented by our friends at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, and we'll be talking to you about our many sponsors and everybody else that'll get involved. But most importantly, because we brought this up yesterday, Tom, we had a lot of questions about, hey, how do I go online and register? How can I get my team ready to go? I got several of those questions yesterday. That's not available yet. That's not up yet. Next week, we believe we will have the ability to let you know, hey, here's the website you go to. Here's how you register your team of 4.
Yeah, basically right now it's a save the date. That's what this is.
That's
and
right.
then, we've got plenty of time, 2.5 months, but the signups will be soon so that you know that you can take a day off from work and come on out and enjoy some golf with us, some libations if you choose on a Friday morning, and there will be some available to you. That's just a guess. There'll be maybe a few. It'll be a lot of fun that day, and then the banquet after will be at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. It's going to be a fun time. Looking forward to it, and it's about time we got back on the golf course together in this official capacity. We're going to do great things for the Second Harvest of the Big Bend. It's going to be great.
Yes, we will. So looking forward to it. That's the date again, April the 15th, Friday. That's a Friday, I should say, 8:30 a.m. Capital City Country Club. So save the date, put it on your calendar. You do that at your house? You do the little calendar? I have a big-ass calendar on the freezer that I talk about, and we change it every day.
We've got a weekly calendar, it's Monday through Sunday kind of thing. We haven't used it
Keep
lately.
yourself hyper-focused.
Yeah. Right now I'm doing the phone notes and reminders. I go back and forth.
You're the king on the phone note.
Yeah. Well, it helps me with names.
You're awesome at it.
I'm okay with admitting that.
You,
I'm terrible with names.
You told me this one time over a beer at Momo's. You turned to me and said, because the guy walked by and said hello, and I recognized his face. Now, we meet a lot of people because of the line of work we're in, and I always feel bad because I see people's faces, and I'll think, I know that guy, but damn, I don't remember his name. I met him in passing, or he came to an event, and he's a really nice guy, but I feel awful. I don't remember his name. And so I'm always, I pull the Bobby Bowden. How you doing, buddy? So that's always tough. And he walked by, this guy did, and I said to you, not quite like this, but I said, what is that fine sir's name? And you're like, well, hold on. And then you pulled out your phone because you'd seen it before too. And I was like, what are you doing? And you pulled up your notes section. You went, I put people's names in here and little features about them. So if the guy's like a hippie, he's got long hair or something like that, you'd be like, Jerry, long hair.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is 100% true.
Yeah. And then
Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
Long distance runner. Whatever we talked about.
Crazy beard.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, that's Keith. He's got the crazy beard.
Yep.
Yeah. And so you do this. Yeah.
There was a listener who is a driver in Washington, D.C. who came down for Libations Fest a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And he
nice
had
gentleman. Very nice.
Weird tequila cocktail. And I'll go find my notes. I'll pull it up. But I kept his name for that reason. I was like, that's what we talked about.
Interesting choice of drinks.
Yeah.
Don.
Jonathan from Birmingham. Jonathan, I put you in my notes.
There you go.
I put you in the notes
there
because
you are.
Listen, I'm never good with names. Even if I meet one person a day, it's hard for me to remember that person's name.
What'll be funny is that Jonathan from Birmingham will swing by at some point. I'm going to go, Tom, what the hell's that guy's name again? You go, oh, that's Jonathan from Birmingham.
And I'll remember
Jeff.
it. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, you're good with the phone notes. I know they're there. I never use them. I use them in show prep. Like if I think of something on the drive in or I'm done doing something and it occurs to me that, oh man, there's this other angle, I might jot it in there. That I'll voice note it. That kind of a thing. But that's
our friends at the Capital City Country Club. Yeah, I took notes on your names, folks. I know your names.
That's good. And he's relaying them to me. Plus, where you live.
That's great. Whoa,
It's
no.
a joke. It's a joke. All right. So there's that. Yesterday was a very lukewarm to downright cold National Signing Day. There was really nothing for us to celebrate as Noles. And that's not a, hey, they dropped the ball again. No, it was just sort of this particular day is not what it once was. And for Florida State and many other schools, the heavy lifting is already done. And if you're going to get a guy, you might get a guy, right? Not 10, 12, 15 guys. It is a bigger deal, typically, I would think, moving forward for all of the new coaching staffs to try to scramble and make some things happen. And in that way, via Schadenfreude, I was pretty pleased that all the people Florida didn't get the guys that chose LSU or Texas A&M. Listen, I'm tired of Texas A&M, or Ole Miss. I mean, there were several guys where Florida was in the mix, and they didn't get them, which was great. And it was also great that the Stewart kid, the 5-star stud, chose, I guess, I say it's great, chose Texas A&M. I don't care about that. I just didn't want him to go to Miami, and Miami was on the short list. It was Texas A&M, Georgia, and Miami, and he went with Texas A&M. Go figure. Which ends up leading to the speculation and thus the diatribe from Jimbo Fisher at the press conference. Pretty frustrated as he is. We laugh at that and we have some fun with it. But Shamar Stewart ends up signing with Texas A&M yesterday, and that was a big deal. LSU got Harold Perkins, the linebacker. He was a player that I would have loved for Florida State to have. Now, he was originally committed to Texas A&M, so we had no real chance there. But he was also on a short list because he took the late visit in January to Florida. I was like, nope, we don't need all that. So he took it to LSU.
So in the end, in full transparency, we were laughing in Florida and Miami and the recruiting classes on the early signing day, but they did catch us or end up around us, depending upon where you look. Miami's consensus, I believe, was 18. We were 19, and Florida was 20. So the big three in the state were right there as top 20 classes. Not a banner year for any of them. But when you combine that, and I'm not trying to spin it, this is just the truth. When you combine with the work that they've done in the transfer portal, this staff, it's been a good year. And that's what Gabriel, actually, he just commented and contributed to the program. So thank you, Gabriel. But he says, all in all, he thinks we address many needs. Yeah, they have. And it's not just for 2 years from now. It's for right now. And that's where the transfer portal comes in. It's tough to look at a recruiting class by itself, especially when you're not a good football program, because you have to address the now and the later. And that's what the transfer portal affords you the opportunity to do, which is both.
So here's an interesting thought on that, Tom, or I think it's interesting because, I talked about this yesterday. I think Mike Norvell is a good football coach. I think there have been a couple missteps off the field with staff. And I'm not just talking about on the field staff. And he's also been dealt a bad hand. The COVID year was brutal for a new coach who didn't get the opportunity because of the early signing period to make an impact. Then follow it up with the COVID situation. You kind of think to yourself, well, this is tough. What does he have to do for the next 2 years in your mind? And here's why I asked the question. I say there are different tiers to this. What does he have to do to avoid being on the proverbial hot seat? The reason I ask that question is that if, in fact, you are, and it's agreed upon, it's a consensus, there are, let's say, those interested in observing and rooting for and covering the program, if we all come to this conclusion that, say, after next season, well, I'll ask you in a moment what we think the record would have to be for this to be the case. But if after next season, we all kind of look back on it and say, Mike's in trouble. If that's true, he won't have a good recruiting class next year. He won't.
Yeah, that's fair.
So if, in fact, that's true and he doesn't have a good recruiting class, well, then he's a dead man walking. And then you're already starting to cast your eyes upon the next great candidate. And that is a weird place to be. Now, I'm not saying that to generate controversy or anything. I'm saying this is the kind of stuff we all talk about, especially when it surrounds a program that we love, and especially when you and I, think that Mike is a good coach. But there's more to being a good coach than just being a good coach. You've got to do all the other things right so that you're set up for that coaching to have an impact on good football players that win you a lot of games.
Yeah, so the threshold, I think, is 8 wins keeps them off the seat. 7 wins is debatable because there's no perfect 5 losses you can find out there. And by that, I mean, excusable losses. You can't find 5 of them. There's no way. So you could have a debate at 7-5 about whether or not he's on the hot seat.
I think he's on the hot seat if he goes 7-5.
Yeah, which for me is the same thing. It's the same difference because if it's open for debate and discussion, then therefore, what's happening on the message boards is happening with the higher ups, which they're saying, is this the guy? But I could see him still having a good recruiting class, even with 7 wins, if because this is where the crowdfunding comes in, you get coaches. Now it's you got to let go of the defensive staff, or you got to let go of 3 or 4 key coaches underneath you, and you bring in stone cold recruiters and or guys with great reputation.
It takes them time to get that ball rolling, and you won't have time if you're on the hot seat. Even if you make changes, what coach is coming here for a coach that's on the hot seat?
A coach who would be the successor if it doesn't go well.
Yeah, we're basically talking about a disaster if he enters the realm of hot seat. At that point, it becomes a foregone conclusion.
Well, I think 7-5, it's the debate. 6-6, you're squarely on it.
Oh, yes. People will want him fired. Straight up, will want him fired if they go 6-6.
8-4, I think it's okay. You've got market progress, and that's something that could easily be seen with the basics, which is the win and loss record. And I would think if you win 8 games, you look good at least a few times this year where people say, oh, you know what? He's figuring it out. Okay, good job.
How you win matters. Aesthetics matter, yes. How you lose matters. I agree. And losses happen for a reason. So if you just lose to teams that have better personnel and the games are competitive, all right, yeah, people will say that's part of the growing process. You put your kids in a position to succeed. There's real buy-in. They fought. They came up short against the likes of, say, Clemson, or on the road at Miami, which nobody wants to swallow that, but hey, that's the deal. If you say you lose on the road at NC State, 27-24, and you're competitive, okay, well, they won the line of scrimmage that day. All right, and then maybe LSU. Okay, you lose a close, well-played football game against a team with better personnel at the Superdome in New Orleans, comes down to the fourth quarter. All right, I'll give you that. But, man, that means you've got to really take care of business in all those other games, and you don't have margin for error here. It's just something to contemplate because I think we're embarking, and it's not an understatement or an overstatement. I think everybody knows this, just a matter of fact, really important season for Mike Norvell. Very important season. Now, think about it. There are guys on this staff that almost across the board, our fan base wanted him to move on from, and for good reason, and he has not. Now go out there and go 7-5, and you're in real trouble.
Right, with no receiver recruits committed to the program of any significance. Yeah, that'll be used against you.
Well, and there are other guys that aren't on-field guys that everybody's kind of like, okay, it's just fascinating. I don't know what to think of the guy we just hired from Oregon State. I don't know anything about him, save for what I read in the release. I mean, how would I?
Right. Well, and what Mike said about him in various media outlets, be it a release and or this morning on ACC Network, where he's saying, as we talked about yesterday, it's somebody who has organizational skills, big time, and you need a dedicated set of eyes on all things.
Without question.
High school and transfer portal. You need multiple people for it.
He knows he's got to recruit better. He did. He survived and salvaged something good, not great, pretty good, after some swings and misses and getting caught off guard and all of that. He's got to have a better run in this next recruiting class.
There's an interesting point that Gregory brought up in the chat. He says it all depends on Jordan Travis. And that's a dicey deal. Do you let it come down to how healthy Jordan Travis is if you're the staff? Wouldn't that be a major debate topic within those walls?
You know the answer for me. I would have recruited over him. I would have brought in somebody else to, at the very least, really challenged him. If he wins the job, great. I'm not anti-Jordan Travis. People think I am. I think he's just got a long way to go to be what we need at the quarterback position here. Maybe he gets there with the added help that's coming at wide receiver that we brought in, maybe with this offensive line taking a step forward, coupled with his work ethic and signs of improvement towards the end of the year. But a big part of his progression depends an awful lot on whether or not he's available at practice.
Right.
Is he available for every game? For the games that he is available in, Does he play well, and does he finish said game? Does he not miss portions of those games? You could argue we would have won the Florida game if he didn't miss a quarter and a half the first time he gets sacked. So
yeah, because by the time they wake up, they could be behind.
yes.
Yeah.
So I would have brought in somebody else to really make a go of it. That's me.
They could still happen post-spring.
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be a
but you would bring in
quarterback
a vet.
candidate. Yeah, yeah. Now, by the way, that's I would. I'd bring in somebody. Again, at the very least, you want to bring in somebody who has experience, has some ability, clearly, and gives you a fighting chance to win a game that Jordan Travis misses for whatever reason. If he's got an injury that's going to cause him to miss this weekend's game, I need to know that guy gives us a chance to win. Unfortunately, and I understood why they rolled the dice a year ago and brought in Mackenzie Milton, I would have done the same. I would have said, okay, if he's anything close to what he was, if he's 75% of what he was, we got a chance to win football games. Now, it's not ideal with this offensive line and the dearth of receivers, but his acumen, pre-snap, and all of that, you would have thought, okay, maybe that can overcome some of the arm issues, meaning he doesn't have great arm strength. I couldn't have known that he would have this dead foot issue, which is a real problem, obviously, but they clearly didn't know that either, and they rolled the dice. Now you know that when Jordan Travis doesn't play, you don't win, and they don't really have anybody else on that roster. I mean, you don't want to have to roll A.J. Duffy out there in year one if you can help it. So I would find a veteran player that gives me a fighting chance, certainly can hold down the fort for a quarter or two or a game if Jordan misses.
All right, so let's put it this way. If, and it's a giant if, but we're playing a hypothetical game here. Let's say Jordan was available for all 12 games this year. He was available and able to play at a reasonable level. He might get dinged up in a game, but nothing. He doesn't come out, leave.
Right.
You know, he's able to play for 12 games. Do you think we achieve the 8-win number? Like when you were factoring in your W's and L's yesterday and all the things that go into it, the context of where the games fall on the schedule, were you thinking about Jordan Travis' health when you were doing that at all?
No, I was assuming. I always think we do this with the assumption that you're a healthy team. I mean, of course.
So you think if he's healthy for all 12, we win 7?
I said 7-5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's still not good enough.
No, it's not good enough.
So you think we're going to have this discussion? All right, that's what we found out here. You think in December of this year it could get a little bit testy?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by it. No, I'm not. I mean, I think these things can be simultaneously true. I think Mike Norvell is a good coach who needed to do better, whether it's an unfortunate set of circumstances or he entrusted some guys who failed him in recruiting. Whatever the reason, I mean, at some point you are what you are, and if you're not winning, then you're under a lot of pressure. So he's got to win games, and he's got to win games sufficient that recruits, big-time players, start getting excited about coming to Florida State. You can't constantly be scrambling for the transfer portal to make up for either misses or areas of real weakness. You have to get some steadying force, and that only happens if you're seen as a viable program that is going to be consistently solid moving forward. I think there are real question marks about Florida State right now. I like Mike. I like other members of this staff, not all. And I do think that he does a great job in the transfer portal. It's a damn good thing he does because they'd be in real trouble. He'd be a dead man walking. Now, we know the financial situation of Florida State, so he's not going to get fired after this year, short of going 4-8 or something like that, where they feel like, oh, we've got to pull the plug here. But I don't think they will. They'll be better than that. But you have to hope, as a Nole, you have to hope that he's an 8-win. This is an 8-win team, bare minimum. And if they are, you got a shot. You're still hanging on, but you got a shot.
Well, it's not just about recruits saying yes, but it's also boosters and donors saying yes. And I wonder what this spring and summer is going to look like. Like, does he do the booster tour the way it used to be done pre-COVID? Is it something else where you bring money into the Apex program? Like, I wonder how that all is going to factor in. There's a lot of people who are in new positions, like Michael Alford, who knows from the Seminole Booster. So the continuity there helps. But what is that process of funding going to look like? Because in order to close the deal with these recruits, let's stop standing on, the past and standing on ceremony.
Yeah,
here.
NIL matters.
You've got to close with NIL. So whether or not he goes 8-4 or 5-7, if you got the money, he could go 5-7. Well, you never know. He could go 5-7 and close if we've got the money.
We won't have the kind of money to overcome a 5-7 season. That ain't gonna happen.
So you think there's a threshold of money we can offer to wins we put out there on the football field this season?
Mm-hmm.
Like a kid would forego an extra $500,000 because we won 8 games rather than 5. I wonder if that's true.
I don't know. It's a brave new world. I have no idea. I just don't know that we'd be on the radar. He'd be seeking $500,000 from somebody else. I don't think we would matter. I don't think it would ever come to that. I think if I'm a top tier recruit that can command $500,000 in the NIL, am I looking at 5-7 Florida State? Because I'm sure as hell getting offers from teams better than Florida State at that point.
What if the difference is $250K and it's 8 wins? You know what I mean, though? That's the impossibility of where we're going.
Yeah, I mean, it's why he's got to have a good season, man. You have to have some forward momentum here. You've got to get people feeling good.
But I feel like the season, and it's not just for him, it's for Michael Alford, it's for, everybody involved at Seminole Boosters. The season starts now. It starts yesterday.
Yeah, and I think that's why it was a positive thing to see Michael Alford give the interview and say what he said. And I think that there's very little doubt that he is putting an awful lot of effort into sewing that up. Yes.
Whether or not we're going to need a new coach or to close with recruits, either way, we're going to need the war chest built up as much as possible. And we can't compete with the Alabamas of the world, but we need to build it up as much as possible.
Well, that is true no matter what. And you're going to just listen, if Georgia wants a kid, if Alabama wants a kid, if Texas A&M wants a kid and they've got the money to go with it, you're not going to get that kid right now. But the kids that aren't going to those 3 or 4 schools, you still have to have a chance to get. And that means you have to be buttoned up in NIL. And as of right now, we don't know that that's the case. Certainly, they're efforting to do that. And I'd like to hear behind the scenes from my sources more consistently that that's happening. But I am not hearing that, Tom. Now, I'm not hearing that it's an unmitigated disaster. I'm not hearing that it's not without focus and attention. People are trying to get this resolved. I need that happening sooner rather than later. We all do. Florida State in particular. Mike Norvell needs that to happen sooner rather than later. But I don't think that they're oblivious to it. So that's important. And in the coming weeks and months, we're going to be paying close attention to all that stuff. Yes, the on-field stuff is huge. You got to win games and create opportunities and momentum and belief and all of those things so that people are willing to give to the funds that we're talking about or, certainly sacrifice in order for things to happen for Florida State. You don't win games. None of it matters. None of it matters. And so I'm presenting to you is I wonder what that number is. And I think it's definitely for him. He's got to win 8 games. It's a weird thing. It's not like I'm the one making the ultimatum. This is an observation, and I think it's a fair one. I think that in order to create momentum and to have a chance to recruit to the level you're going to need to save your job in the year following this one and the one after, then you better have an 8-win season to present to give you a fighting chance to where if you are buttoned up in the NIL, you can get a kid because you're being considered by that kid, not I don't know, Coach. You guys went 6-6 last year. It's going to take a little bit more than 300,000. And we're just throwing around numbers. We don't know what it is. It could be 50,000, 80,000. I don't know. But
there has to be a sliding scale of on-field success versus what you can. I mean, that's good luck finding out what that is. It'll be different for every kid too.
Mm-hmm. I'm very fascinated to see who the other quarterback is that they're going to bring in. I think they are going to bring in another quarterback. I do. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
When you are approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group are here to help you preserve your retirement. The team at Preservation Financial Group can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create a comprehensive income plan designed around your needs. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risk before you retire. To schedule a free, no-obligation consultation, reach out to Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group today. 850-523-6118. That's 850-523-6118. Or visit them online at preservationfinancialgroup.com.
Sarah here from Seminole Auto Glass. Remember when you used to get yelled at for writing the Braille?
Oh, yeah. Those bumps on the yellow line. That was before the car techie stuff we have now, like lane keep assist.
You know, when your windshield is replaced, those cameras need to be reset. It's called recalibration. Seminole Auto Glass was the first to offer it here.
Nice. Keeping us inside the line instead of riding the line.
And we offer drop-off or mobile service. Plus, we give you a $50 gift card with your windshield through insurance. We're more than just a glass company. We're your local auto glass experts. Better call Seminole.
Stuck in an expensive timeshare contract and feel like there's no way out?
I'm almost at $10,000 in 4 years. I've never traveled anywhere.
They made this sound that this would be a really good deal, that I could go anywhere, anytime I wanted to. That never worked out.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group. I've helped thousands of people get rid of their timeshares. I know all the tricks because I'm embarrassed to say I once worked in the timeshare industry. We've saved suffering timeshare owners millions in debt and maintenance fees. When you're approved as a client, I guarantee you a 100% success rate. We'll get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off of your back permanently.
I honestly would recommend that you call Wesley Financial. They will help you.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free information kit. If they can't get you out of your timeshare, you'll pay nothing. Call 800-600-9595. 800-600-9595. That's 800-600-9595.
There are endless options for storage sheds, carports, and gazebos from Southeast Portable Buildings. Put all your lawn equipment in new sheds so you can get that pool table and flat screen TV in your garage. Convert a storage shed into your very own happy hour place. 2 for 1 all day long. Want to try your hand at brewing your own beer? Get yourself your own brew barn. Looking to grow marijuana and get in on the game? Get yourself a grow shed. From she sheds and man caves to repair shops and trophy rooms, the possibilities are only limited to your imagination. Visit Southeast Portable Buildings today.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows who Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. This is. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
And strategy firm and how they've served state government and business clients across the nation, even though they're located right here in Tallahassee, and they're unique clients and over 1,500 projects and all the information you can find out about ISF, what their expertise is, and that they help state governments solve the future using strategy, process, technology, all that stuff. And I think sometimes you can get bogged down in that and maybe not really connect to something. And you might say, well, what is that exactly? And what do they do? Do you have an example of something they've done? ARRO, powered by ISF, is an enterprise-wide tool that provides agencies with real-time personnel and equipment tracking for faster reimbursement. There you go. There's something that's real, right? From severe weather to pandemic response, agencies on the front lines work every day to keep citizens safe and protected. For state and local organizations that coordinate emergency response, reimbursement can be a very challenging process. In a recent wildfire response, a large state agency used ARRO to track personnel and equipment expenses and received $45 million in reimbursement by the end of the same fiscal year. So if you want to learn more about this, go to isf.com/ARRO to learn more. Those of you in this business, in this field of which I speak, you'll understand what I'm talking about. ARRO is a big deal. So if you want to see this example, again, go to isf.com/ARRO. And now, Tom, let's solve for the future, shall we? We were actually on the subject that allows us to kind of segue nicely. And that would be what? That Florida State solves a complicated future on the football field by winning football games for starters and certainly cleaning up the NIL situation. And if Mike, in fact, keeps his job or loses his job, however you want to do it, let's present it, I guess, if he loses his job, will it be because his staff hires, not all, I'm not saying everybody.
And retentions,
right? Failed him. And he failed to see those that he needed to move on from in a timely fashion and those that weren't getting the job done. And thus he stayed too loyal, for lack of a better term. And at the end of the day, that served to bite him in the ass and he lost a dream job. Or will it be because he attached himself to Jordan Travis and just said that Jordan Travis is my guy. I'm all in on Jordan Travis, despite the fact that there are some flaws in his game and maybe he needed to move on from him. This is something everybody likes to debate. I think it's certainly interesting. Mark brought it up on the chat, and I thought it was a good one. Mark, good job. Norvell is putting all of his chips in on Jordan Travis. And I do contend that I think they're going to bring in another quarterback. Now, is that to say that they're going to bring in another quarterback to take Jordan Travis's job? No, I don't think so. I think it is fair to say that they believe in Jordan. They think that he's getting better and that he's going to continue to get better and that they've given him some weapons now at wide receiver, assuming that those kids hit.
Yeah, which takes away the crowd at the line of scrimmage if you want to run the zone read, which is good. That's helpful.
Yep. And then they think certainly the offensive line is improved. They even have a little bit of depth. I think a guy like Bless Harris comes in, Tom, not as a starter, but rather as a backup, as somebody who gives you quality depth. Whereas I think the Caden Lyles kid is going to start. And then even that gives you more depth because then you're supplanting a starter from a year ago who has a chance to get bigger and stronger and provide some other help for you along the offensive line or be a viable backup if anybody goes down for a series, a game, a quarter, whatever it might be. So I think a better offensive line, improved quarterback play gives Jordan Travis every opportunity to take that next step. I don't know if he will or will not. I don't know if he'll be healthy enough to be relied upon week in and week out. That's frustrating. I know that if for any reason, and I just got done saying it, that he goes down, Florida State is in dire straits. They're not going to want to play A.J. Duffy, and they shouldn't. It's not fair to that kid. And I think that, we've learned that the others aren't capable. So even though we so desperately wanted.
You never know. Sometimes we have late bloomers in the program. I'll just lean on that LaMarcus Brutus example for the rest of time.
I do think you never know is a polite way of saying if there's a miracle, Tate Rodemaker could help us. So I would.
Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah. So I would say that he needs to bring somebody else in that is a viable player at the position. A viable player. A guy that if he has to play, maybe you take a step back, but not.
Right. You can still run pro-style concepts with him, drop back, throw, get the ball out, hand the ball off.
Well, I mean, last year it became painfully obvious that if Jordan went down, we were done. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it looked like McKenzie was tanking the game against Florida. Like, what are you doing,
Well,
McKenzie?
it kind of broke my heart, right? Because he just couldn't play. Just couldn't play.
It looked like he was ready either.
No, because I don't think he could practice consistently well. Yeah. I mean, listen, this isn't to pick on that kid. That injury ruined his career. He fought hard to come back from it. It's noble. It's a shame it didn't work out. But there was also no getting around the fact he couldn't play. I mean, we kind of like, oh, this is a problem.
The unfortunate thing is he had the magical night, Monday night against Notre Dame. And if there isn't a wild snap on third down, maybe he has one final chapter. The epilogue is a win over Notre Dame. And that drive might have been completed with a touchdown.
Yeah,
Notre Dame was reeling. It was a standing 8.
I tend to think it would have. I think we were going to win the game.
Yeah, I think so too.
Now, I still would argue that it's still a solid epilogue for him because the fact that he came in that situation and made those throws to get us there. And, that was enough given where he came from and all that.
Yeah, the whole thing here is that you wouldn't want to bring somebody in who necessarily challenges Jordan toe-to-toe because you don't want to even let Mike be tempted by the idea of a 2-quarterback system ever again. I would hope they would have learned, but
if the other kid can play.
We want to ride the hot hand. You remember this press conference? I mean, Jesus.
Sometimes it's gibberish at a press conference because you can't tell the truth. So I don't think any coach.
So then you use polysyllabic football terms to try and talk over people's head?
Yeah, I mean,
because you're embarrassed? Yeah.
Well, I don't know if, maybe you're embarrassed or you're frustrated or it just doesn't behoove you to tell the truth in the moment. Like, you don't want to tell your opponents that our quarterbacks can't practice during the week. So,
well, that was camp. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That got a little fiery that day.
Well, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you don't want to tell everybody that the guy's projected to be your starter has missed 4 or 5 days in a row and his backup has a situation with his foot that he too has to take rest. So, we're just going special teams this week because we really got to get special teams right. That's not the kind of press conference you want to hold, and it's not the kind of thing you want to say. And moreover, when you do and then your special team sucks, it's not a good look. So, sometimes gibberish.
I had forgotten successfully about special teams for a few months. It's unfortunate that that's brought back up. Now, we've gotten returners, but, we do need to block for those returners too. But that's another topic for another day.
We did get one in Micah. He can catch a punt.
Right. That's a start. Fair catch everything. That's a start.
God, imagine returning one.
That's what I'm saying. You got to block that, though. We never did that. I mean, Jesus.
Well, they didn't know how. Nobody ever caught it. Then they were shocked if it was caught.
Well, on punts, I'm talking about kickoff returns, though. Like even when we didn't stutter step out of the end zone to the 10-yard line before hitting the old R2 button, we'd always get tackled inside the 20-yard line, 15-yard line. Just need to be way better. Whatever those drills were, let's try different ones.
What's weird about that is those drills make perfect sense. The coaching we witnessed in practice was fantastic when it came to special teams and the emphasis on it. I just don't understand how it did not translate. Now, clearly, when something like that happens, you got to go back and you got to self-scout, as they say, and really look into what you're doing and why it's not translating on game day. Because it could be sound in practice, but if it doesn't translate on game day, then something is not connecting with the players. Either they're not understanding what it is you're teaching, or they're able to do this in practice but can't in a game because they're overwhelmed. It's something that the opponent is doing that they've picked up on about how you block it up. Whatever it is, that can't happen anymore. It really can't. It's just disastrous and it's embarrassing. Our thanks to our friends at ISF. Again, a reminder, Solving for the Future, ISF. It's every Thursday, but go check out what I told you so you can get real examples of how it is ISF helps. ISF.com/ARRO.
Your local news now.
Tallahassee Community College was awarded funding to create a charter school. TCC is set to receive $10 million as part of the new initiative. Governor DeSantis announced Wednesday that TCC was one of 5 community colleges in the state given the opportunity to establish a charter school. The mission of the program is to create a career and technical education charter school on its campus. Funding is being provided as part of a $3.5 billion that Florida has invested in workforce education over the past several years. A 52-year-old man was arrested in connection to a January 19th house fire after investigators determined it was an arson. BPS also believes the suspect is responsible for multiple reports of recent car break-ins. BPS discovered that a fire was set intentionally by Albert Anthony Clark at a residence. Police say Clark was arrested for arson and aggravated assault. Clark was recently suspected in multiple entering auto reports from across the Bainbridge area. As of Wednesday afternoon, investigators have connected Clark to 8 of those reports. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macklemoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. More clouds than sun this afternoon with highs around 75. Southerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for isolated storms. Tonight, lows dip down to about 63, cloudy skies. Isolated thunderstorms again tomorrow. Highs level off around 70, cloudy. Low 50s Saturday with a chance for scattered thunderstorms. Mid 50s Sunday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 70.
What do you need tires on? Your car or truck? Tractor or heavy equipment? At Nice Tire and Auto Service, we have tires for all of these needs, and we service your vehicle from air conditioning and computerized alignment to oil changes and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
Do you know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Of 97 patients, 33 are vaccinated, and 63% are considered incidental.
See, this is what I'm upset about. He's basically made up the percentages to look like it's at 100%, but the two are not related to each other.
What's 37% of 97?
It's 35.89.
So why in the hell can't he literally ask iPhone to include that in his articles?
Maybe he's got an Android.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cash Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Class is always free. If you're a new member, first month is free with the purchase of a heart rate monitor. Get after it. Go ahead and commit yourself to what it is you've been thinking about, which is, hey, man, I need to be beholden to something. Well, be beholden to those classes, scientifically backed, those coaches that encourage, teach, inform, and keep you motivated, as well as the other members. Join my friends at Orange Theory Fitness. It works. I'm here to tell you that. You can check them out. First class, again, free. If you don't know what it is, you're not sure, you're a little nervous, and they take time with you. They'll sit down with you, and you'll learn all about it, and you'll see why it works. And once you start, you'll be kind of addicted, I have to admit. So orangetheoryfitness.com to learn more. It's a fascinating subject, not Orange Theory Fitness, which is a fitness regime, and it's great. But you almost sense, while we were talking about Mike Norvell and what he has to do in order to avoid a perilous situation. And you can begin to feel a little helpless because you're not sure the roster does everything that it needs to do in order to avoid said scenario. But I think the roster is improving, and I think that they are well coached. So I like the order the schedule came out in. We already celebrated that and talked about it. Obviously, my W's and L's reveal that I don't think they're talented enough to take a massive step forward. I had them going 7-5, but it is February, and we both conceded whether you're taking 9-3, 7-5, 6-6, 8-4. I mean, it's fun in games right now, but let's see what spring looks like. After spring's over is when they can bring the quarterback in if they're going to bring one. It's not during spring, so that could change your view as well. There are some other people that could be joining this program that have an impact for the fall.
Yeah, I think this roster overall is better. There's no doubt about it. But the best area of last year's roster is potentially way worse. Potentially. Now, Verse could be a player. He could be, but he has 3 years of eligibility.
Yeah, he may be a player 2 years from now.
Right, to ask him to come in and be a grown-ass man like Jermaine Johnson is just, that's
they're going to take
fool's errand.
Clearly what you're hoping, Tom, and I'm hoping, and they're hoping, is that you're not going to get the same production that you got last year on that defensive front, stopping the run. But can you get something that doesn't resemble a sieve? And do you take a huge step forward offensively? Because if you do, it offsets some of the fall off defensively.
And can you stay healthy at linebacker? That's just always going to be a key unless you brought in 3 more guys in the summer or something like that. But if you can stay healthy at linebacker with Deloach and Bethune, okay, now you've got at least a starting line on a depth chart. I think the secondary, finally, I'm the one who says stop about the secondary.
You get tired of hearing about that secondary, buddy. Yeah.
I hate it. But with Jamie Robinson coming back, what we saw at Omarion Cooper, right? That's two good places to start.
Love me some Marion Cooper.
Dent was all right. They found homes. Kevin Noles can either play in the nickel or slide outside if they've got a better option.
No, they're better,
nickel.
Tom. They're better. You're right to assert it.
Secondary's floor is coming up.
I also understand if I'm listening to this and I'm a casual listener or observer of Florida State football, like, we'll see, buddy.
I'm the guy who hates on the secondary, and I'm telling you, the floor is coming up. The floor is coming up for that group. So your linebacker play, if you stay healthy, and you're extremely thin there, but if you stay healthy at linebacker, you're better there. You're better in the secondary. Okay, now you just need to be anything but a train wreck at defensive end because the interior guys came back as well. That's not bad.
No.
The defense won't be as explosive in the opponent's backfield as they were last year, but that's not bad. Now it's on the offense and what the receivers can do to create balance for the play caller, Mike Norvell. We'll see.
I'm excited to watch Mike and Alex Atkins work together on play calling. I think that'll be nice. By the way, Austin Eckroad, I can't speak all of a sudden, is tearing it up at Pebble. He's 5 under through 5. We saw him play here, the Invitational.
We did?
Yeah. He is young and talented.
Was he an Oklahoma or Oklahoma State kid?
He is.
That's the group I followed.
Yeah, that's who it was. It was. Yeah, I'll show you his picture in a moment. We watched him. We watched him here.
That bastard.
Oklahoma State.
Man, watching Vincent Norman. Now he got some sort of status. I read a few months back. I don't know if it's Corn Ferry or what. But to watch that dude play Golden Eagle into a strong breeze on
that
17,
par 3, woo!
Hit it to 10 feet birdie, and then into the wind on 18
Eagle.
to take the hard line. That is an aggressive line off the tee and make an easy breezy eagle. Those dudes are crazy.
They're different dudes.
Well, I hope. Do we have the Invitational coming up here soon? This is the time of year. I'll take a look.
I'll ask Trey. He's doing qualifying right now on his team, and he gets a gleam in his eye when he does this. They go through like 7 rounds, and it's just your scores. Either you smoke or get smoked, as I like to say, and that's it. That's who earns it. And he just sits back, and he said they set up the course some days to be extremely hard, where guys are 5 over through 7 because they have the ability to obviously do that to that course and make it longer and everything else, whatever they want. And then other times they'll set it up so that and I thought this was interesting, and it makes a lot of sense, and you would agree with me on this. They also will set it up extremely easy because they want to see how kids react if they're 8 under through 12.
Right.
See what you do then.
That's a different pressure.
Just like if you're 6 over on the turn, like how do you handle that? Isn't that cool?
I don't see it on the schedule. I don't know. Maybe this year they're taking off from it. I don't know. But the ACCs are in PCB. We can go watch the ACC championships in Panama City.
We can.
That'd be cool.
It would be cool. Here we are. I love watching this because tonight in prime time you get to watch some great golf. Pebble Beach is beautiful. I've been there. Had a chance to have a great scotch as my father and I overlooked the Pacific Ocean. It was pretty neat.
Need to go out there and play. I'd rather play. If you had a choice between a trip to Scotland or going to Pebble, where would you go? I'd go Scotland and not even think twice.
Yeah, me too.
All right. It's settled then.
We're off and running. Can't wait for my birthday. Good job, Tom.
Oh, God.
Come on, Matthew Fitzpatrick.
I need that JCS Christmas bonus to kick in pretty soon.
We'll come back, give you some picks in a second. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Let me tell you what T-Spark stands for. It stands for strength, commitment, teamwork, and heart. We don't ever quit until we've got nothing left to give. Our team is unstoppable. Want a guaranteed win? Call T-Spark Enterprises for your next roofing or construction project. We conquer all peaks. TSparkConstruction.com. License number CCC 1331204.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Our friends at ISF work hard to help their clients solve the future. ISF is an integrated IT and management consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, serving clients all across the country. With the new year upon us, ISF reminds you to create a clear strategy, optimize your process, and modernize your technology to meet all your goals in 2022. For more information, visit ISF.com. That's ISF.com. ISF, solving the future.
There was a time when a person's word was enough, a time when a handshake meant something and integrity really mattered. Farm Bureau Insurance continues to live by these principles. That's our pledge, and it hasn't changed since the day we got started. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me at 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. From Hurricane Kate to Hurricane Michael, Tallahassee has been through a lot, and we've been right here with you because helping you is what we do best.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Live and living color and totally free. Subscribe to Warchant TV on YouTube, the digital home of Warchant.com. From the practice field to pregame and the phone calls afterwards, Warchant's YouTube channel is home to live programming like Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Trench Talk, a live Q&A with Noles offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. Just search Warchant on YouTube and click or tap the subscribe button. That's it. It's totally free. Warchant TV on YouTube. Just another reason we're the ultimate Seminole sports source.
The Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Quality teams, you'll like this
Yeah,
too.
my favorite coach too at UCLA.
Yeah, there you go. So I would note to you, by the way, that I played this on the College Sports Book. You guys can watch that video if you'd like. Go to YouTube, College Sports Book. You'll see me, my beautiful face, telling you about this game tonight and how I see it. I gave the 6. I like Arizona to get revenge in this game. I'm giving 6. And I also like the over on the total. So go ahead, shop around, look for it. This is a fun game. I'm going to double play this game with a mutual friend of ours, Tom, so I'm going to double play it for real.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to it. This all brought to you by our friends at North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to NorthFloridaPayroll.com.
Hey, Big Daddy, having some Red Russians tonight?
We'll know in about 47 seconds.
To an open wing. It's picked up by Dowdy, an empty net. He scores.
Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again. Red Russians all around, Teddy. All right, Big Daddy.
Still like that. Makes me smile. Opening kickoff touchback you get for plus 150 for the Super Bowl.
Really?
That's easy money. They're going to kick it out of the back of the end zone, are they not?
What?
Plus 150.
How? Well, I don't care.
It doesn't really matter.
I'm racing.
Yeah. Also, crazy prop bets while they're out there, just got to shop all around and hope that your guy allows for these things. You can find an odd or a prop punt down inside the 5. Plus 635.
Really? I mean, pizza money.
Of course.
Pizza money turns into steak money.
Last rush of the game. And that counts as a quarterback kneel.
Okay.
If it is. Plus 180 if you bet it for quarterback. So if you think somebody's going to have the lead enough to take a knee and win the game that way, and you believe that's what's going to happen, then at plus 180, that's worth pizza money too, Tom.
Man, how about you parlay all those together?
That's fun. because you got a plus
$10,000 on it.
Well, you got a plus 635, a plus 180, and a plus 150. Sprinkle those three. What would you get, do you think, if you put those three together?
By my calculations, a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do that. Let's do that. Let's The Office. Let's all just do this. Let's have a lot of fun with it. Hey, as an aside,
drive to Biloxi, of course.
Yeah. Second game here before we sign off. It's all me today, guys. I got you. I took Arizona. I gave the 6.5, depending on where you're looking. I took the over on that total. One other game that I like tonight, Wyoming -1 against Boise State. We're all in on college basketball right now, guys.
Yeah, that's fine. Hockey's on a break. Enjoy your Oilers winnings from last night.
Good work, Tom. Good work, Director Matthew. Good work out of all you. Be well, everybody. We will talk to you tomorrow on a Libations Friday.